Thank you very much. Please, shall we respectfully have our seats? At this junction, please, I have the privilege to uh, once again recognize our very Director General, Professor Naideko Ikinoso, a leader with dynamism, multi-competencies, and a man that is committed to revolutionize the raw material subsector of the Nigerian economy. Please, can you give me a round of applause? And on this behalf, I want to welcome you to this fortnight lecture series by the Raw Material Research and Development Council. And this lecture series is designed primarily to scale up the visibility of this council and as well to represent the council knowledge base in order to compete globally and also bet new strategies that will contribute to national development. Some weeks past. Today we are here to have the next series. And today we're having no other person than a committed man within the STI ecosystem, a man that understands the dynamics of not just research, but also how to take research to a commercializable scale. We have with us as our guest presenter, Mr. Prince Ogbonnaya. Please, can we give him a round of applause? And in his team, he has also Miss Esther and Mr. Mike in his team. Can we also give them a round of applause? And also with us, we have the very director of investment promotion and consultancy services, Dr. Valerie. Please, can we also give a round of applause? And also we have the director overseeing the Directorate of Corporate Affairs in the Raw Material Research and Development Council, Mr. Mokhtar. Please, can we give him a round of applause? And he has his lieutenants all seated here with him, and they will be joined by other persons who are here. And I have the privilege to stand in for the anchor of this program, Ms. Shelley. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to have the Director General give his opening remarks. Then we proceed to the next item. Thank you very much as we have the Director General for his opening remarks.
I mean, the advice, whatever you need at the program session. So let's roll.
Morning, my Director General.
Let's come on.
Professor
Let's come on.
Nani Rubutu, so it's a pleasure to have you here with us this morning. My overseas director of the Directorate of Corporate Affairs, Mr. Umar Rotner. Good morning, sir. Good to have you here with us. The Director of the Directorate of National Competitiveness Strategies and Special Projects, Dr. Mrs. Valerie Ihunyahe. Good to have you here with us, ma'am. The Deputy Director of the Directorate of Corporate Affairs, Dr. Mrs. G. Abibi. Good to have you here with us, ma'am. And Deputy Director of PANI, Mrs. Tari Giwa. Good to have you here with us, ma'am. My colleagues also from the Directorate of Corporate Affairs, you're all welcome here. I would like us to listen briefly to the citation for our guest speaker, the distinguished Prince Ogbonnaya, who is a world-renowned person in IT and innovation. We'll take a few minutes to listen to his citation, and the voice you'll be hearing immediately after the citation will be none other than his very own voice.
Prince Ogbonnaya is managing partner Mole Venture Capital. His career embodies 20 years of the intersection of digital transformation, research, innovation, and policy, with a defining focus on harnessing artificial intelligence to address Africa's most urgent challenges. Training, engineering, and under an MBA, his journey has been shaped by a relentless drive to build scalable solutions that advance sustainable development and accelerate Africa's technological future. He began his professional career in the banking sector in 2007, where he developed expertise in IT systems, credit risk, and business development. Yet his vision extended far beyond traditional finance, recognizing the transformative potential of technology for African economies. He transitioned into entrepreneurship and innovation leadership. In his early career years as a founder, he was selected for Rockstars AI Accelerator in Amsterdam, Netherlands, where he worked alongside engineers from Google and IBM Watson on frontier AI applications. This global exposure catalyzes enduring commitment to research-driven innovation and ethical innovation adoption for Africa. As founder of Molu Venture Lab and managing partner at Molu Venture Capital LP, Ogbonna has created platforms that combine research, venture capital, and innovations ecosystems to nurture startups tackling issues from food security, health, industries to digital inclusion. His scholarly work reflects his dual identity as both a practitioner and a researcher. Through these contributions, he has positioned himself as one of the leading voices on the responsible deployment of innovation in Africa. His influence extends to shaping policy and ecosystems. He has been a key contributor to incubation and investment readiness programs, evaluator for global AI initiatives such as Intel's Deep Tech and AI Summit and Meta's LLAMA Hackathon. In these roles, he has championed locally relevant, ethical, and inclusive approaches to innovation, ensuring that Africa is not only a beneficiary but also a co-architect of the global AI revolution. At the core of his work is a mission to bridge research, innovation, and policy in ways that create tangible impact, whether through academic publications, startup incubation, or policy frameworks. Prince Ogbonna continues to shape the trajectory of Africa's innovation landscape. His vision is clear: to propel the continent forward by embedding innovation at the heart of sustainable development, empowering entrepreneurs, and safeguarding Africa's place in the future of technology.
Wow. Okay.
Speaker, Prince Ogbonna, please, for your presentation.
All right. I think you should go here. So where do I stand? Here, right? Okay. This microphone. Okay. Thank you. Standing on all existing protocols, I want to say thank you to Prof for the mighty things you're doing in the council. Thank you for this opportunity. I think this is brilliant. It's exciting because for me, I'm always excited when we have an opportunity to have conversations with both at the nexus of research innovation. I want to say thank you for the lecture series, and I'm very excited to be here to meet everyone and to meet distinguished directors and personnel in the council. So thank you for this opportunity and looking forward to having a conversation. I want to be able to. Okay. Kind of holds also interesting. We have the petroleum, the natural gases, and resources that we extract usually. Then the volcanic complexes is important for this discourse. We are trying to map Nigeria's raw natural resources, right? So it's important we understand how geologically it is formed. And then what are structural controls? Structural controls basically are those effects that kind of controls how the resources are kind of channeled to, so these geological formations forms those baselines that we have. The structural controls, kinds of help how it is channeled through Nigeria. So we have Pan-African mobile belt influences on mineralization. Also, we also have the hydrocarbon accumulation. We also have fault controls, talking about several. I know Prof will know a lot about the prozontic uh, orogeny. So it's actually around the Pan-African mobile belt. That is what formed. That is what influences the mineralization of Nigeria actually along the lines from the north east down to the south region. So it's important to understand that the things that influences the geological framework for Nigeria are both the formation and the structural control. So we understand that this actually influences how Nigeria's mineralization happens. So now we look at basically, we're going to be looking at each of those resources just so that we have a picture of what's going on. The petroleum resources distribution, the fact still remains that we have over 159 oil fields and 22 billion barrels of crude oil. This is stated in the OPEC 2022 report. And then we also have that the Chad Basin, where you have the Northeast, has about 22.3 billion barrels potential that is yet untouched. And then the Anambra Basin, that kind of have substantial 1.2 billion barrels also. And then we know that Benue Trough too has, but it's not been explored. So it's still, there are a lot of studies still going on to explore how the Benue Trough has the potentials of the petroleum resources in that area. But it's important that we look at what it is in terms of geographical distribution for Nigeria. So we know that the offshore has 70% of current production. We also know that onshore has 30%. And then, and that's why it's interesting when people say in Nigeria that our oil is depleting and is going to finish. So there's still 70 billion barrels undiscovered. All right, and you can find that paper. NNPC actually had a paper on that 2023 with OPEC 2022. So we have undiscovered in the deep waters. Also, the gas reserve, Nigeria is also ranking very well in gas reserve. We have over 209.4 trillion cubic feet that's proven, and we are happy that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing something in that direction. The gas potential in Nigeria portends very serious opportunities for investments and also for livelihoods of Nigeria. Energy remains a vital aspect of living and surviving. And so, for the most part, even at war, if you want to fight anything, fight the hydrocarbons, where the energy is, either developed, maintained in an economy. So, for Nigeria, we are blessed with the fact that we have very rich hydrocarbon deposits, and that is yet to be exploited. So let's look at the structural status of these petroleum resources. We know that this is a well-known fact, and why this is important, I recall that in 2014, yeah, I remember. So I did a research through NEMA and some other bodies about oil pipeline breaks in Nigeria, and then we went around the country, just to check out, the breaks, what led to the breaks and all. That work became one of the most important works that I've done because it went on to the United Nations. 2015, I was called to make that presentation at the United Nations Disaster Risk World, the Third World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. Now, that presentation to disaster risk reduction in Nigeria and how Nigerian petroleum resources, are not being maximized efficiently. So we have an opportunity as a council, to more for all Nigerians as stakeholders in Nigeria, we have an opportunity to explore and maximize the potentials of the petroleum resources in Nigeria. So there are 4 refineries. We know that they are underutilized, and then we have 6 export terminals also. So it's important that we're going through this baseline because somehow the case scenario that we're going to have would help us to, kind of plot how we can use geospatial technologies to, to map. We're going to do like a life mapping. We're going to try to do like a life mapping of a resource. So it's important we are active and pay attention. Okay. Yes. So we understand the solid minerals overview in the country. We know that we have 3 billion tons of iron ore, 3 billion tons, right, in Kogi. Why I'm saying this is that recall that from the first presentation I said over 700 billion mineral resource potential in Nigeria. And so each of this is exploring them, based off on what is important, based on the thematic areas of those minerals. So we could see it for metallic minerals in Nigeria, it's 3 billion for iron ore. And we see for gold, there are over 500 deposits, Osun, Oyo, Kebbi, and all of those states. And then lead for zinc. We're seeing tin in Jos, copper in Plateau and Gombe. And more interestingly also, the formation of this, well, I'm really interested in limestone, which is in the industrial minerals. And there are 750 million tons of resources, limestone resources, and we can say that they are in Edo, Sokoto, Kogi, and the host. So why is it important that we kind of quantify these mineral resources? Now, all of this data and statistics, I'm grateful for my team, research they've done to bring some of these statistics together. The idea is that for stakeholders, it's important to understand these numbers, and the numbers will help you to say, okay, where are we, and how can we get better? How can we positively, use the resources that we have in this country to better the generations that are coming behind us? So we're going to go into agricultural raw materials. I know we've dealt with petroleum, we've dealt with the minerals. So we are here on to agricultural raw materials. So the agricultural raw materials is just a refresher, has great potentials. We look at the Sahel Savannah, both millets, sorghum, granules, and cotton. We look at the Sudan Savannah. And the Sahel Savannah is interesting. The area that I remember when we were smaller, we used to reflect on what does the North bring into, the agricultural ecosystem. So millet in itself, sorghum, granules, I remember also there used to be a lot of bags of granules exports that comes from the north and all of that. So the question is that how much of this is being exported, and why are they not being exported? Why are we not growing more? So the Sudan savannah, we have maize, we have rice, yam, and it talks about the north. Sudan savannah is the north central part of Nigeria, which somehow also is part of the food basket and production zone in Nigeria. So the Guinea savannah um, is known as the agroecological zone, right? That has almost everything. Still the north central. We're talking about Middle Belt, Kaduna, Taraba. Those areas that produces lots of cash crops and edible food materials, yam rice, and all of that. So we also explored the forest zone. The forest zone supplies cash food crops, including cocoa, oil palm, rubber, and interestingly, um, it's also highly agro-industrial zone. We'll look at the places like River State, Oshun, Edo, and then there used to be Fadama 1, Fadama 2, Fadama 3. I don't know if you are older, you probably remember. So the Fadama region basically also is an interesting region where, um, it's the swampy area where rice cultivation is done, wetland basically. And I remember that there are a lot of projects by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, at some point, to boost production in this area. So the coastal zone, we understand the coastal zone to have fish production, basically cocoa. These areas, are very great in um, increasing Nigeria, because at some point, we recall in the 60s, it was this zone this zone and the swampy zone that were also part of the strong GDP Nigeria used to become. I mean, so we're going to have a great conversation, and one of those conversations is petroleum and other natural resources versus other natural resources. I just want to use that to catch our attention. Petroleum versus other natural resources, right? Um, Beyond petroleum, what would you classify as one of the most important other resources that is available in this country that should match petroleum? I'm just saying. So let's have this conversation. Anybody can answer. I mean, no answer is wrong, no answer is right. Okay, cocoa. Madam said cocoa. And then if you have your phone, bring your phone out, because we're going to be using ChatGPT, right? I know this generation is not very good with ChatGPT and all of that, right? But we also use ChatGPT in this lecture series just to ensure that we're guided with the right statistics. So I want to hear from you. So the question is, assuming petroleum resources dries off today, as stakeholders, how do you suggest that Nigeria proceed in terms of raw materials? Based on your field experience or research experience and the work experience that you have. Who wants to give us inputs? Do you have another microphone? Okay. Okay, cool. Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have bitumen, which is untapped.
Okay,
Also,
bitumen.
and all the plutonium products.
Okay, so there's the potential for bitumen. Any other person? No? Lithium. Okay. So since we have our chat GPT, so let's put on bitumen and lithium, the potential for bitumen and lithium on our chat GPT to say what is the, so you want to just put it down, what is the potential value, right, of bitumen and lithium in terms of in Nigeria, basically, what is the potential value? So if you have answers, I'll be happy to hear. Like what Madam said, the core resources, 75 billion. So why I said that is that just like I was going to precede this slide, I said imagine there was no petroleum reserve. So if there was no petroleum reserve, in this order, that's how the value of our resources are. And so the iron ore in itself has this, the coal has this. So if Nigeria is stopped today, this is where we should kind of focus, our exploration mission on. Okay, so we also see that there are other places, the underdevelopment gaps that we have. We know that for the most part, the current exploitation basically is 17% of the estimated potential, meaning that very few exploitation mechanisms that is happening in Nigeria and that we need to pay attention to. Also, we know that the infrastructure investment needed to ensure that these economic values are explored is about 45 billion. And now this is really important, annual production versus potential. What does this mean? It means that we are 1:7 ratio, basically, that Nigeria is far like 7 times lesser in terms of its potential, while producing 7 times lesser based on the potential that we have. And it's important we capture, sorry, madam, and it's important that we capture these values as we do the mapping. So so let's look at the infrastructure gap analysis. Remember, this is a mapping class, right? So we are trying to figure out where the deficits are. So in the transportation deficits, railroad, we have only 3,505 kilometer serving limits around the mining in the whole country, right? We also understand that 45% of Nigeria's mining sites lack all-weather road access. So these are some of the limitations that we're experiencing. The port facilities in itself cannot do bulk cargo handling capacity. They don't have that. So even if we extract some of these raw materials, our port facilities in Nigeria is still deficient in terms of ensuring that the resources are moved across the borders. Then we also understand there's limited warehouse and storage facilities, which is important because sometimes some of these raw materials need to be preserved. There are a lot of experiences. I've had to consult for a lot of organizations that were doing export work. And it's also important that one of the things I notice, especially in the food systems, if you are exporting across board, after you go through all the stuff and you warehouse or you put your stuffs, when their goods get over there, their own assessments are also different. They begin to evaluate our products and say, okay, the shelf life is far, far lesser than what it should be. So, but if we had very good preservation centers or facilities in Nigeria, our people can do a lot more exports. So what we normally do is try to, figure out either if it's agriculture, preservative methods that can be effective. But there's an investment opportunity for storage systems in Nigeria. So let's look at the power and utilities. The electricity, we all know that mining requires electricity, and that the 78%, we understand the electricity situation in Nigeria. Same for water, inadequate large-scale mining processing also, and telecoms. Why is telecoms important? Telecoms is important because mining equipment these days, you have a lot of wireless equipment that are important that helps remote exploration and all of that. So telecoms is important, in terms of infrastructure, and we understand that. Thank God for the 5G. At least for now, for MTN, 5G is doing well, and fiber. I use fiber, and use fiber too. Optical, yes. So I use fiber, and I would say this is one of the most important things the government has done for us, for me personally, in the administration, right? Because we do a lot of things in innovation, and the fiber stuff has helped a lot. So, but fiber system is limited because where most of these mining stores are remote areas where you want to use, you don't want to use bearing cables across. You want to use satellite data and all of that. So we are praying that we've had several conversations with the minister on this, increasing the bandwidth, upload and download strength, especially. And I'll give you this example. I was in India 6 years ago, and the short period I spent in India, they gave me, as a stranger, every day I was giving 5 gig free of charge. I'm talking about 6 years ago. 5 gig. The government was giving everybody 5 gig. So imagine imagine what 5 gig is. I know Nigerians were all content creators, most people, but it would help a lot of Nigerians. That's where I'm going to, because I know how much data it is for young people, even what we are doing and all of that. So telecommunication is really important in infrastructure. Then our processing capabilities, we want to see that it's improved. Less than 20% of the extracted raw materials are processed. So what does that mean? If 80% is wasted in itself. So let's go towards economic impact, and then I'll just fast forward to. Okay, I have the slide. I'll probably share the slide with you after now. So let's get to the heart of the matter, the GIS. So who can tell me, this clearly? Who can tell me what the GIS system is? Okay, so let's just move on. GIS systems are softwares and hardware that comes together to efficiently manage, analyze data, and then present those spatial data for decision making. So I say it again, GIS systems are softwares, a combination of the software and hardware systems that effectively manage, analyze, and present spatial data. When I mean spatial data, is satellite data, and present them in a way that is relatable and can be used for decision making. And then the importance is so much: resource mapping, exploration efficiency, environmental management, a lot, policy planning and all of that. So GIS is important because you combine mapping, combine data, combine, and you do that to use analysis. But it's, for the most part, most people don't understand how it's done. So we're going to use a case study to explore how that is done today. All right. So the geospatial analysis is very interesting, and these are the processes that goes on to it. First of all, you define the problem. All right. Then you collect the data. You prepare the data. You analyze it, and then model it, visualize the result, then apply for decision. So this process is important because if you do not understand what you want, if the problem is not well defined, you will not probably collect the right data. So if the problem is not defined properly, you collect the wrong data, and when you collect the wrong data, you have gotten it all wrong. So I want to be able to I want to give a vivid example in terms of refinery. So I will say that we're going to use a case study of locating and optimizing limestone. His Excellency.
I'm not excellent.
Well done. Okay, so optimizing limestone deposit for cement production in Nigeria. So we're going to use this case study. Thank you. So we're going to use this case study to understand the processes that we discussed earlier. And what is it? Remember what we want to do. We want to do what? We want to locate an optimal limestone deposit for cement production in Nigeria. That's what we want to achieve. So our first case study is what? Identify the best. So we have defined the problem. So what do? We create a scope. So the scope is which area. So we're saying we're looking at maybe Southwest Nigeria. It will take like 2 states, right? We take Ogun State and Ondo State. And then the next thing we do is data collection. How do we collect the data? Through geological maps, satellite imagery, infrastructure data, and all of that. Then we prepare the data. How do we prepare the data? It's simple. We're going to use coordinates of all data sets from how we collected the data. Remember, like I said, the only way you are able to effectively get the right data, if you get the data collection phase wrongly, you are likely not going to get refined data. So we get coordinates of these data sets, clean them up from duplicates, and then put them in layers. So what that means is that the data we've gotten from the satellite imagery, and if you are using drone for local data collection, you get all of those data and then layer them. That's how you prepare the data. Then stage, this is where machine learning comes in, where you are overlaying each of these data to find out patterns. So remember that our aim is to find a limestone zone, right? In Nigeria. That's the aim of this case study. So in that case, we're looking at all the patterns, the maps in different parts of Nigeria around those states, and looking at what is available. Now, how many people have used NASA, Copernicus satellite data and all of that? So Copernicus satellite data is the environmental observation. You can Google it out. It has everything around Nigeria. It's studying Nigeria geological ecosystem as we speak, and has been doing that for a long time. Continuous data. So you use those data from those search images quickly and lay them in these two states and figure out the spot that has the highest level of potential. So what we do is we then visualize and ask ourselves, where do we locate this? What is the best three sites? What is the best three sites? Which one has proximity, deposit quality, and quantity? Out of the three sites, which one is has proximity to infrastructure? Out of the three sites, which one has low environmental and social impact? So environmental and social impact also means that where it's less restive to problems and all of that. So out of that, you now choose, out of those three sites, the one that ranks highest comes out in your visualization results, and then you can now make targeted investment decisions. Is that clear? Okay. Yes, sir. Yes. Can you use your microphone? So I have to stop here because I was given 10 minutes. And go on, please. Can you please continue?
I'm saying,
You can take.
process. You said identify the best sites.
Yes.
You
Stay
use
this
the word
other side and
best.
snap me with
They assume that they already
all
know
of that. Then snap the people.
ab initio what the site is like. It's not about to say potential sites.
Yes, sir.
I think not about to say identify potential sites.
So we started with that. We want to explore limestone in Nigeria. Then we did a scope to say let's narrow down this scope to like 2 states, because you cannot do very large. The data set will be too much to analyze. So we narrow to 2 states. The idea is that you want to present to investors 3 or 2 potential, like you said, potential sites that has the best or optimal value for their money. So that's what we want to achieve. So maybe the language actually,
It's supposed to be potential sites.
okay, potential sites that has the best optimal value for the investors. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so there are other stuff that we probably will delve into, which is recommendations for how AI can be used for the ministry in terms of deployment. So immediate deployment of AI implementation can be in terms of monitoring, continuous monitoring of 450. Now, this is a large project. You don't want to go in, but it's important that as a council, you have continuous data, you're monitoring sites. Now, I'll tell you that in most developed countries, if there's a continuous shortage, or if there's someone that is stealing or sabotaging the mineral resources, they can quickly find where it's happening immediately. It's done because they have continuous mapping, of those mineral resources. So it's something that we can look towards achieving. Then a national resource database of resources. I know there are a lot of databases in itself, remote areas where the biggest problem we have in Nigeria is that data sets are isolated for the most part. So it's important we have a national repository, especially in terms of mineral resources, where data is not aggregated and is in different places. Agric have their own, mining ministry have their own, and all of that. So in long term, so there are a lot of these expressions. Market intelligence platform right now it's not available. Investors wants to come into Nigeria and they want to see which of the resources are doing what, how they are trading, where they are mapped, and what are the potential. Let me use August's word. The potential valuation of these resources, and then environmental monitoring of this of the ecosystem itself, right? So I'll leave us to this. I'll just do like a takeaway. We understand that Nigeria in itself has very large resources diversity and significant over 700 billion worth of potentials, untapped resources. We have gaps, and AI also offers a way of transforming these opportunities for sectors. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time and attention. I hope this makes sense.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, not only has this been very informative, it has been very easy for us to understand. It hasn't been way above our heads. Thank you so much for making it easy for us to understand. At this point in time, I'd like to invite questions from the audience.
Yes, please take your questions. Mike, please help me write down the questions. I want you to get everybody in one picture. Stay in a corner that can take a lot of people. Just one full faces. Okay, I'm here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I saw the figures you marshaled out.
Okay.
It does some monitoring.
Yes, sir.
But I will try to match it with natural quantities in terms of tonnage. Have you seen anything like that?
In terms of what?
Tonnage.
Okay.
Quantities.
Yeah.
The reserve.
No, I mentioned them at some point. I mentioned some of them. You could see here for iron over 3 billion tons. Coal, you could see that there's 2.7 billion tons. Limestone, you could see 750.
No, sorry. I'm talking about when we are putting the actual amount, actual value.
Yes.
Is it in line with what is the actual cost?
So these are statistics. These are statistics value. I can give you the statistics where it's mentioned. Each of these stuffs are sectors in themselves, right? So there are sector-specific experts that does evaluation, right? So what we just normally do is extract from them. All right. So what you see as statistics value based off on the amount that those experts has valued. So some of them are value in terms of money and not quantity of the raw materials. So that's what I was telling you, that data in itself in this industry is scattered everywhere, and that's the idea of having a council like this that can quickly give you data, and it should be accurate. And that's why I was saying how AI can help us do that, right? AI can help us aggregate this data quickly from different places and present factual data in terms of value and quantity.
So that's why actually I was trying. Yes,
Awesome.
because the data I gave was statistical data.
Yes.
And the source of the data.
Yes.
Not the source of data.
I have every data here has a source. I have sources for all the data, and I'll be glad to share them. I'll be glad to share the data, the sources, and all. Any other question? So, okay, I want to get takeaways. I mean, I need 5 persons or 4 persons to quickly tell me what they got from the meeting. All right, anything that stood out for you. What's the microphone? Can share with me. Okay. I'm going to be doing random, but madam should take first. So everybody should get ready. I'm going to do random.
My most important takeaway is that after you give us the fact that even the oil, the amount yet untapped is still there. However, our ventures, we're shifting away, diversifying.
Exactly.
These are the best options. Iron ore, coal. There is quite a large number. One was like 70, what was 75
Yes.
dollars.
Yes.
Quite interesting. Our economy needs to be highly diversified from being a mono economy based on crude oil. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Just to rephrase what Madam has said, these are the quantifiable resource valuation of these resources, and we can see that mineral resources come largest, but Nigeria was still focused on agriculture and all of that. So attention could be paid. So, Madam, she should be next. Yes. Yes. So, what's your takeaway?
Um, Actually, I understand that from when we have talk in Nigeria, there should be a shift
Hmm.
from the over dependency on crude to diversifying into other sector and the agro sector and as much as other minerals that could also um, raise or generate revenue for Nigeria.
So that's really interesting. Thank you so much for that. Very insightful. Madam wants to share.
I learned that we have untapped agro raw materials and mineral raw materials. We have problems too.
Yes.
The issues, transportation system, power, and all that. But you didn't mention insecurity. Yes, because
Social security. Yes. They're part of the economic social.
we can't transport to a place that is volatile.
Done, right?
To go and say we want to start tapping all these
We're in a safe
raw
zone, right?
materials.
Yes,
So I think government should look into all those areas too. Thank you.
Okay. Your government, I don't know. So I should look in the right one. Say I will look into the situation. So we have maybe a gentleman or two, so that we balance it out. Anyone that have not spoken, okay, I want to say something, and then sir, you'll be the last to close it up. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think it's good to know
Yes, sir.
that find valuable minerals in Nigeria, like petroleum resources, and having limestone. I know quite well that limestone, there is no geopolitical zone in Nigeria
Yes.
that we don't have limestone. And that's why this Nigeria is being rated as the largest hub for limestone development and utilization. So this is a welcome development,
Yes, sir.
and I believe the council still further work on that. I know there is no zone in Nigeria that don't have cement industries, and this due to the abundant deposits of limestone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please let's clap for him and every other person who had made contributions. Okay, you want to wrap it up? Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. You know the importance of GIS. You highlighted it. So there is need for these satellite-based investigations of our resources.
Yes, sir.
And some countries, even the pollutants, they use satellite-based to determine all these pollutants. No need to go to laboratory or to use some equipment apparatus. So there is need for collaboration between the council and the geological survey
Yes.
for all these satellite-based investigation of our raw materials.
Thank you so much, sir.
So that we have enough data for investment purposes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'm really like, I would say that the audience has been so awesome, engaging, and the fact that I got feedback that the attention was not just was not a time that was wasted. So I'm really excited and grateful for this opportunity. Looking forward to next time and engaging further with you in any way we can. I will leave this with you. Your attention actually is your most valuable currency. Your attention is your most valuable currency, and you gave that attention 1 hour and more. That resources, I hope that is valuable and is mapped in the future. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Another round of applause for our guest lecturer, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to invite Dr. Mrs. Valerie Dupinier, the director of the
Thank you
ENCS.
so much. Thank you, sir.
I would like to see
No problem.
to have that.
Sorry? Okay, I think I should.
A round of applause for our
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was what? Thank you.
First, let me thank the initiator of this lecture series. Inviting to this back. That's what we're so happy. Now it is successful venture.
Thank you.
Quite
Oh, yeah, sure. Please.
staff are quite interested in this lecture. Some of us in the way that. So I'll thank you for coming. And I hope that this lecture series continues and is even in a wider scope to take in more staff. Because once in a while it's important that we talk to ourselves about what we're doing. And more importantly, that an outsider fits to us. Because it gets to a certain time, we take each other for granted. When an outsider now comes in, tell us what we know already, that we think we don't even know. It's quite significant. So I want to really thank you for your youthfulness, your mind. Oh, we would have loved you to put it under. I think that's what Engineer Kelly is trying to say about. You know, we're a student of, we're still students. So let's leave that. Well, thank you. I thank your team for putting this together. I like how you acknowledged it from the beginning that they did most of the research. So team of please, congratulations. You did very well. And to our staff, I know our material staff, don't joke with them when it comes to learning. Thank you for coming, and God bless you all. And please, the DG is not here. He was the first person that was here. All of us now started scrolling in when they now called us like, So next time when we hear that the lecture is 10, please, like they always say, 5 minutes to 10, stroll out of your office, quarter to 10, stroll out of your office so that you are not caught off guard. And now to the big mascot, the Almighty God, that brought us, all of us here today. Some people slept in the wake up. Some people ended up in hospital. Some people cannot even afford transport fare to leave their homes. So for us to be here, to be hale, hearty, and whole, we give praise to the Almighty God. And His name be glorified in our life forever and ever. Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, just before we round off this edition of the RMRDC lecture series, I'd like to inform us that the next edition will be coming up on the 25th of this month. It's a fortnightly program.
And we're going to be having another guest lecturer. It also promises to be very informative, very, very easy to understand, and very impactful on the work we do here. And I'd also like to thank Professor John Uket for being the initiator of the RMRDC lecture series. He's done a great job yet again, and we know that the series will keep getting better and better and better. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you very much, please. In addition to the lecture series, what she has just said, please want to beg our directors to talk to the staff members. Please let's join. We looked at our back end. Most of the staff are not there. Please, let's encourage them to join us and be part of this lecture series, please. We are begging. Thank you.
That's to join. The link should be shared across the platform. Staff who are not here should be able to join online.
We have the links on the WhatsApp groups.
Okay.
Yes.
And then also each of the lecture series representation.
I'm ending.
Okay, each of the lecture series going forward will have